G'day everyone and welcome to Andrew's Arts and Models. Today we have the full build video-ish, I'll explain in a second, of the Trumpeter E-75 135 scale. Pretty basic kit. I go through most of the building and there's really not a lot to it, so I'll show you whatever changes I really make, but otherwise it's pretty simple, so we skip most of it. I did have a problem with recording, and so most of the paint chipping and a few other little bits and pieces is skipped, unfortunately. So it got lost on the cutting room floor, so to speak, and it's not here anymore. So couldn't include that in the video, so I'm sorry, but we just continue on as normal, and it's a pretty simple build, as I said, so I'll shut up through most of it and let you enjoy. So the photo etch set that comes with the kit is actually really good, but it's got these little clamps on it there for the tools to attach them to the tank essentially, and I think it's probably just going a little bit too far. They're not really needed, and they are very fragile and fiddly, and you'll see what I mean in a little while. I'll show you some close-ups of them. And yeah, I just decided after doing a couple of them, yeah, nah, not worth it. We'll continue on with the rest of it. So some of you might be looking at this bit here and wondering why I'm gluing it from behind. So I occasionally get the shakes and I tend to get glue everywhere. So I find if I glue them from behind, it's nice and neat. The part still gets attached and I don't make a mess of the kit. Now, sorry, my ruler hasn't got an inch conversion on it, but it's roughly 2.5 centimeters to an inch, so you can just see how small those parts are if you're using that system. But yeah, it was just too fiddly, so I just went, nah, not worth it. And at the end of the day, unless you're really looking for it, you're not going to notice it. So here you can see I've just made those tow cables a little bit too long, and I actually haven't installed them properly. I haven't put them under the clamps on the side of the hull. So I just leave them for now and go back and fix them once the ends have dried and set in place, so I can not worry about pulling those off and making a mess. Here's another little trick, and I basically am using the Revel contactor glue still, but I've just put it onto a little bit of plastic and I'm dipping the parts in it that I need to stick on the side of the turret, and it just makes it a bit neater and easier, and I don't make a mess of the surface of the kit. on this kit are a little bit fiddly. They're a little bit loose when you put them onto the sprockets, and it just doesn't want to sit, or the arms rather, it just doesn't want to sit very well. So just be careful with this, take your time, make sure they're all lined up properly, and let them dry well and truly before you continue on. Right, so the tracks were fairly easy to put onto the vehicle. You just got to put them over the drive wheel first before you put them over the rear idler wheel. They're obviously under a fair bit of tension, and this side was fine, but on the other side the idler wheel gets pulled forward. So while you're doing the build, you could probably change that out with a bit of aluminium rod or something like that, just to strengthen it, to stop it from moving. So one of the beauties of a paper Panzer is you can have whatever paint scheme you want. I'm sticking with traditional colours, but I'm just having a bit of a hard edge paint scheme and just making it up as I go, have a bit of fun with it. And it's one thing I love about these kits is no one's going to pick you up on inaccuracies of your paint scheme. I decided I wanted a nice crisp hard edge, and when I'm doing the Tamiya tape, it helps to really burnish down the edges just to make sure that the paint doesn't get underneath it when you're airbrushing. You'll see me doing that. Normally I'll take all the tools off and equipment, and you can certainly do that. It is a bit easier, but I thought, I'll just do it this way for a change. So the Nato green, I've thinned it, it's a Tamiya Nato green, I've thinned it 50%, and I'm applying it fairly light in most areas on the tank. I do some bits heavy and then other bits light. I just sort of wanted to make it look a little bit worn. I didn't want a heavily dirty tank and lots of grease and grime and streaks and things. I just wanted to have a tank that looked like it had been reasonably well looked after, but it had a few chips and nicks out of it. So just removing all the masking here once I've done the camouflage. I've done my usual trick of painting the entire tank with a Tamiya clear lacquer just to protect the paint. And once I've peeled off all the masking and everything, I'll do the same thing to protect the green. It allows me to, as you can see here, I'm using a toothpick to get up the mask. It allows me to be a little bit more rough with it and not have to worry about scratching it, as long as I don't touch the green areas, because I will chip the paint off that. Right, so now I've lacquered the green paint as well, so that's all nice and safe, it's not going to get scratched. I basically paint all the metallic parts with the Nato black and then do the oily steel and some aluminium over the top of them. I also do deck tan on the wooden handles and things, but I did lose that footage, so that was amongst the footage that I lost, so I apologise for that. You won't see most of this. So as I said earlier, I don't want a heavily dirty, greasy tank, so I just use the panel liner black on the engine grills just to make those stand out a bit more, and the rest of the tank gets the treatment with the panel liner brown. So a lot of the chipping was amongst the footage that was lost. I just used this pretty much the same method I used on the E100 video, with the Panzer Aces dark rust, and then went over the green with some Dunkelgelb and just mixed it up a little bit. Wanted some nice chipping, not a heavy amount of rusting or weathering, and etc, etc. Now I decided not to cover the leaves in this video. The very next video, which also includes the E-75, I'm just doing a little diorama with it, and I'll have the ET leaves set in that one as well, so I'll show you how to put it all together in that one. And it's a lovely little set, it's a lot of fun. But I just decided, we'll add a few bits and pieces. I've seen a few chains on tanks and a few bits of wire on tanks and some leaves and camouflage, whatever, and let's just have a bit of fun with it. So there you pretty much have it. Just a simple little build, a lot of fun, no real trouble at all. Great little kit, well worth the money. I can't complain about this one at all. And as I said, I didn't go, over the top with it. Just had a bit of fun with it. And we're going to have a little diorama coming for it soon. So check that video. I hope we'll have that up by the end of the week. Won't be far off anyway. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share, subscribe. I'd love reading the comments below, so if you could take time to put something in, that'd be fantastic. Any questions, just let me know. And don't forget, we have the monthly giveaways again for this year, so keep an eye out for that. The January one for 2020 is already up, so yeah, keep an eye out for those, and watch that video on how to enter. Thank you.